In a thunderous display of unity, Arab and Islamic leaders gathered at a historic summit in Riyadh, demanding Israel's expulsion from the United Nations. They denounced Israel's actions in Gaza as genocide, pressing for drastic action in response to what they describe as an ongoing massacre. This unprecedented move sees Arab nations drawing a hard line against Israel's military operations and calling for a full withdrawal from occupied territories since 1967. Convened by the Arab League and the Organization of Islamic Cooperation, the summit saw Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman deliver a scorching condemnation of Israeli operations in Gaza and Lebanon, branding them as genocide and demanding an immediate halt to the violence.
This summit is being held as an extension of the previous joint summit in light of the continued sinful Israeli attacks on the brotherly Palestinian people and the expansion of the scope of these attacks on the sisterly Lebanese Republic. The kingdom renews its condemnation and categorical rejection of the genocide committed by Israel against the brotherly Palestinian people, which has claimed the lives of 150,000 martyrs, wounded and missing, most of whom are women and children.
Malaysian Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim didn't mince words, joining global calls to suspend or expel Israel from the UN, calling Israel's actions a vile and blatant genocide.
Israel no longer belongs within the civilized community of nations, and its barbarism demands nothing less than decisive action to safeguard not just the Middle East, but the entire global order. 50 years ago, the world was so horrified by the atrocities in South Africa that the United Nations General Assembly took the unprecedented step of denying its government a seat of the assembly. Israel, however, has gone beyond the pale, beyond reason, beyond humanity itself in its vile and blatant perpetration of genocide of the people of Palestine. These cumulative acts of violence against an entire nation leaves us with no choice but to demand the swift and effective action of the international community, including embargo, suspension, and even expulsion in its relentless campaigns.
Arab League Secretary-General Ahmed Aboul Gheit backed up the stance, calling a freeze on Israel's membership a crucial first step in holding Israel accountable for its crimes.
There is a paragraph in this text that I find very important and vital, a paragraph that talks about moving before the General Assembly to freeze Israel's membership. This is a step. I mean, I don't know if I'm exaggerating. It is a major step in the quest to put things right. If Israel had obtained the right to membership from the General Assembly in 1949 by Resolution 181. Today, the Islamic group and the Arab group are two organizations moving before the international community, and I'm confident that there are many countries that will support the idea of freezing membership.
Lebanon's Prime Minister Najib Mikati joined the growing call for action, highlighting his country's urgent need for peace amidst the chaos. In a passionate appeal, Mikati called for an immediate halt to Israeli aggression and a ceasefire, stressing that the path forward lies in establishing lasting stability.
The basis remains to stop the ongoing aggression against Lebanon immediately, declare a ceasefire, and establish the foundations of sustainable stability, while affirming the Lebanese government's firm and unwavering commitment to International Resolution 1701 in all its aspects, strengthening the deployment of the army in the south, cooperating closely with the international peacekeeping forces, and also working to extend the authority of the Lebanese state over all internationally recognized borders.
Turkey's President Recep Tayyip Erdogan tore into Western nations, calling their silence on the suffering in Gaza a shameful betrayal that exposed their indifference to the humanitarian disaster unfolding. Erdogan's words cut through the summit, pushing for action in a crisis the West has largely ignored.
Israel's aim is to settle in Gaza, destroy, and ultimately annex the Palestinian presence in the West Bank, including East Jerusalem. There is movement toward this aim, step by step. On one hand, we focus on achieving an immediate ceasefire. On the other hand, it is imperative we find urgent solutions to deliver humanitarian aid to Gaza. To date, Turkey has sent more than 84,000 tons of aid to Gaza. It is ready to send much more when restrictions are lifted.
As the summit concluded, a resounding commitment to a two-state solution reverberated through the room. Leaders rallied behind the call for a solution based on pre-1967 borders, reiterating that peace cannot be achieved without ending the Israeli occupation once and for all. Iran's first Vice President, Mohammad Reza Arif, escalated the rhetoric, urging US President Donald Trump to stop the war on innocent people in Gaza and Lebanon. Late Iranian President Ibrahim Raisi, ever defiant, pushed for Israel's military to be classified as a terrorist organization across the Islamic world. Hamas seized the opportunity, calling on Arab leaders to transform their words into concrete action to halt Israeli operations. The Gaza Health Ministry reported a staggering 43,600 casualties, figures the UN is now officially verifying as credible. Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas pulled no punches, directly blaming the US for the deadlock in negotiations, asserting that Washington's complicity has stalled any political solution. Qatar's Emir Sheikh Tamim bin Hamad Al Thani echoed these sentiments, urging Washington to step in and mediate for a ceasefire. Israeli officials, meanwhile, stood their ground. Finance Minister Bezalel Smotrich reaffirmed plans to annex parts of the West Bank by 2025, while Foreign Minister Gideon Saar dismissed Palestinian statehood as an unattainable goal. Israel's message was clear: it's business as usual, despite the mounting global condemnation.